Hello, my name's Peter Maloney. I'm currently a senior lecturer at Chelsea College of Art and Design, part of the University of the Arts London. I am acting course leader for the MA Interior and Spatial Design course. So the opportunity to do this work at Tate Modern this year was really useful because it was an opportunity to reflect on our previous work from a previous wave of VR in art and design. In 1995, I was part of a research team at Chelsea on a research project called Virtual Reality as a Fine Art Medium, and as part of that, was one of the outcomes of that research project was a conference at what was then called the Tate Gallery. There was only one in Millbank, and other members of that team, including the organizer Kevin Atherton, media artist, and Dr. Tim O'Reilly, they came back and presented at the first symposium at Tate Modern this year. But that's my connection with VR, yes, goes back a long way. For me, I don't think there's any doubt this time that VR is kind of here to stay. It is important that as well as us kind of understanding how it's made and having discussions about, and collaborative discussions about how we can make amazing work, it's really important that we remain critical about it and that we continue to consider the kind of social and other contextual impacts around not just virtual reality technology, but notions of the digital and digital disruption and its impact and potentials. Yes, so on the MA Interior and Spatial Design that I'm running this year, there is a student called Piera who's had a brilliant year. She's been looking at, she comes from an architectural background but is interested in identity and within the digital realm, and is kind of attempting to unpick this sort of and explore this spatial aspect of VR and identity and its spatiality. And she entered a competition with UX Sprints, it's called, and 2 weeks ago she was awarded first prize at the Digital Catapult event, and so she's won some money and an internship with Volition who are going to help her make her work. So she's done really well. I mean, again, with VR, because it's at such an early stage, I think we don't fully know where it might go. And I think with something like Piera's project and something like we've been doing at at Chelsea with the Digital Maker Collective, we're really keen to work with industry for many reasons. We want to know what they want from our students. We are interested in preparing our students for a world that's coming and that industry is obviously currently involved in making, so they can learn and become aware of the skills and the kind of workflows. But we think that we also have a lot to offer industry in terms of this kind of critical approach and research-based approach, and I'm particularly keen to work with industry to develop a kind of rich research and development sort of field where we can share that ground and answer some of the important questions maybe that they have about virtual reality and digital technology, and that we also have, and maybe we can answer some of those questions together. Well, on that, of course, art and design focused universities face a bit of an uphill struggle because art and design is not being pushed in the same way that STEM subjects are at school, and so it's important for the university to consider where it exists, where its place is, and I think the boundaries of the university are slowly changing, so we have to reach out to our audiences who might come, to our future students much earlier, but I think it's important that we have a responsibility and engage, as I've said, with industry, and to maybe think about, ways that it used to be called incubation, but I think we might now call it something like acceleration, where we can expand the boundaries beyond the point when students leave university and start work, so that those boundaries become blurred. But certainly we found, and Chris follows on the head of the sort of Digital Maker Collective at Chelsea, has done some brilliant work in using virtual reality as a kind of early critical engagement for students at sort of school level and younger, actually, to kind of get them interested in this idea of creating and being creative, and thinking about the way that they could be included and participants in making experiences rather than just being an audience for them. So we've been, Chris has done some great work on that. I mean, if I was able to see into the future, that would be fantastic. We have to try that collaboration thing. There is, of course, a big discussion about disciplinary boundaries and the fact that they are also blurring. We have to take that into account. We have to, I mean, certainly at university, we're looking at ways of allowing students to personalize their level of study, and through what we're doing with the Digital Maker Collective as well, we're also allowing them to come together as what we've described as a kind of pedagogy of inquiry. So students work from across disciplines to come together and answer questions. It feels like a really healthy, research-led way of finding solutions to problems. So they're not media dependent, they're not subject dependent, they are vital questions that people can come together and work on, and we're finding that really useful. But when you bring in that kind of openness, it's a bit more unpredictable then as to what you might get, or how quickly things might change, and where it might lead. But it certainly feels very vibrant and vital at the moment, and it feels like, I think we're producing really good graduates as a result of kind of equipping them with that agility to respond and work together to respond, to answer what can be quite difficult problems and complex questions.